their captain, MaNa.
And down here in the bottom right, we have our red Protoss player. He is KingCobra, representing Root Gaming. Yeah, you say it's the team captain. MaNa is also the manager, actually, I think now, for Team Liquid StarCraft players, at least. I don't think he's managing the I don't know that he's managing the non-StarCraft players, but now I'm actually second guessing it.
I can't imagine he would, right? Because like Team Liquid Dota is playing in a major right now, and here MaNa is playing his game.
Yeah.
So can't imagine, right?
Well, Team Liquid does have a lot of games, so I could see maybe it's like not Dota, because Dota has like coaches and all the other like special staffing and stuff. But I believe MaNa, at a minimum, we do know he is actually managing the Team Liquid players for StarCraft 2 and stuff, which is pretty freaking awesome. He's also been killing it with a lot of like the YouTube content and everything, while also still being a relatively competitive like pro player and whatnot. Like, honestly, it's been really refreshing to see just a lot of the pro players that have been able to show how many things they can do successfully at once. It's refreshing and also infuriating as someone who just naturally has to also, you know, always goes through the comparisons of like, oh, you're this age and you're doing all of these things and are really good at all of them. Cool. I wasn't doing anything like that at that age.
You know, it doesn't matter how you get there, so long as you get there, Fear Dragon. And one of these days, I'm gonna get there.
You're still young.
Yeah.
You still have time.
I mean, look, I'm like a year older than most of my friends, so like for my birthday, they give me a cane, and it's infuriating. So I'm like, come on, guys, like I'm 26. What is this? But I do want to talk about this opening a little bit, because KingCobra is taking a page out of Max Pack's book. He's got single gate on the ramp. What he did that was really weird is, by the way, no MaNa, there he's gonna get his gateway down. He hit the cyber. You know, he put it behind the middle line. MaNa did scout that pretty quickly. But this is just a weird delayed 3-gate robo, and you said this was gonna be weird. Yeah, this is like one of the weirdest pairing of openings I've seen for quite a while. And now the Adepts are kind of trapped, but I don't know how much they care. The force field's not doing too much when there's, you know, you can shade out. And what is happening right now?
I'm really surprised. I did not think that the Adepts got denied from getting into the main. I actually thought they made it past there, but I guess the KingCobra was ready and got the shield battery down in the nick of time. He is gonna have a chance to cancel that as MaNa lets the shade get canceled. I think he actually could have waited that out a little bit, but didn't want to play around with it. You're right. This is going to be a very fascinating opening, but it is also absolutely 1000% going to be decided the next couple of minutes, because this is not a transitionary build for MaNa. This is not a build that transitions.
I mean, you say that as the Adepts are going to try to get on top of these stocks. The one Adept immediately evaporated. We can have really weird situations, right? Where both players, you know, they do a lot of damage to each other, and, you know, KingCobra gets shut down onto one base, but he's not dead, and MaNa can't break him, and, you know, they're both on 25 workers, and they both have the same tech path, and it's like, actually, this game is stabilized. I'm not saying that that is what is going to happen, but sometimes you get stuff like that, and considering the kind of defensive setup that KingCobra has, I wouldn't honestly be quite surprised to see that happen. He's already got one Immortal out, 2 shield batteries. As long as he doesn't get like force fielded into the main or something, he's kind of going to be in a good spot. Although, there we go. Oh, Sentry runs forward. But now he's just going to force field him into the natural. So, you know, one way doesn't work the other. And there's the recall, which now means he's going to get stuck out of the main base pretty soon hereafter.
It also means that 3 Stalkers are in, and Immortal are still stuck up in the main base. Finally, the force field does expire, and one of the Immortals does manage to make its way down. But MaNa is killing so many units over here. Is not able to actually get the kill off on that other Immortal, but he is able to target fire down. Great Warp Prism micro as well, keeping his own Immortal alive. Warp Prism gets target fire down, but KingCobra is not able to secure the kill, and I think MaNa has done so much damage over here.
Yeah, the KingCobra, well, he's gonna have to be crowned another day, because with the Immortals here and everything else, KingCobra, he's dead. MaNa takes game 1. And Fear Dragon, I just give up the natural, right? It's an all-in. Just kind of, it's okay. Pull your probes in the main, hold the high ground. buy time for your Warp Prism, and then it's 2 Immortals in a Warp Prism versus 2 Immortals in the Warp Prism. I gotta figure that that's the play, right?
I regret jumping out of the game because did he have as many gateways as MaNa?
I want to say he had 1 to 2.
Or did he have 2? Was it 2 versus 3?
Let's see if the builder tab.
Because like I think that's one of those things where I also like look at that and I'm like, if you give up the natural, can MaNa actually just contain and just chill?
He got his third.
Okay.
He started his third gateway 4 minutes in though. So, but
yeah,
he got the
because MaNa has the proxy. So I see your point also. Like and this is going back to what I was saying, where it's like MaNa doesn't really get to transition because his transition is not having a Nexus back at home and having a proxy gateway and a proxy robo. So like if he loses the ground, he gives up his tech. He's going to be behind in workers and everything. So I do wonder, maybe there's an opportunity where he could just turtle up on one base, but I wonder if that's like the one situation MaNa could transition from. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think that's one of those things where, yeah, again, it is all in, and he did have 2 gateways to 3, so generally defender's advantage, you can kind of buy time for that one, even with, of course, the proxy and happening as it did, but certainly trying to hold the natural and then just getting absolutely annihilated by a single force field, that is not how you want to do that. I think especially with, there were sentries in the Warp Prism, with that, how MaNa wanted to play, yet don't even try. Like, we saw half the army versus half the army. Did not work out, but we have another game to figure things out to see whether KingCobra can reclaim his crown or whether it's going to be MaNa that's going to be spitting the facts of the 2-0 because game 2. I tried really hard to make a KingCobra joke and it didn't work out super well. Luckily, this man is no joke. In the upper left, in the red, KingCobra.
And on the other side of the map, we have our boy in Team Liquid Blue. He is none other than MaNa, sitting up 1-0. I do think you made a really good point on the first game about just the type of openings and stuff and where you throw down your first pylon, whether you're getting the wall ups and stuff, but here is one of the beauties of going into the map so you have a high ground natural and stuff, is that it is a lot easier to just go for those low ground natural expansions, and it's harder to break or be broken when your opponent has to go up a ramp to try and break you. So we do see both these players actually going for those low ground kind of wall-ins and stuff that we typically see in a lot of PvPs.
Interesting though, coming in from MaNa here. Yes, it is the low ground wall, you're right, but it's a 2-gate wall, which does slow down his attempt at a natural. That's what he wants to go for. In fact, it's 2-gate cyber, and I kind of wonder here whether this is MaNa just keeping room open for him to run across the map and drop another gate and a robo on the other side like he did in game 1, if he thinks KingCobra is being too greedy, as again, that's kind of how he punished him in game number 1. And more importantly though, was KingCobra, I think, misplaying the defense against the sentries is kind of how that one worked out. But MaNa has the opportunity now, right? He's got those 2 gateways. His cyber is just about done. He has aggressive options if he doesn't want to go and take his natural.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we do have double stalker coming on out here for MaNa, which is going to allow him to get a little bit more offensive on the other side of the map, as he also throws up the pylon, try and go for the typical little block there. And KingCobra, he goes for his own pylon on the other side of the map, not even going to really be waiting for a probe to try and throw it down next. He's just like, you know what? He did this to me. I'll do it to you. We'll see what we can do. And oh, I love this. MaNa being able, okay. So what I love about this is that for MaNa, he went for double stalker. He has a lot of firepower and fire output to do additional damage, but Sentry not as good at doing that damage, so it takes a lot longer to deal with, say, like a cyber core follow-up and all this stuff. Whereas I think MaNa is actually a little bit better set up to deal with the probe. And okay, on the other side of the map, KingCobra threw down a pylon inside of MaNa's base. Is he just wants to see if the Stargate gets, no, sorry, in the main base.
Yeah,
he's literally just to see if the Stargate gets canceled.
It might be threatening something, right? The whole, look at me, I've got a pylon in your main, I could warp something in here, you don't know, because You know, MaNa
But
did
it'd be
lose
slow
that
warping.
probe. Sorry?
It'd be a slow warping.
Yeah, and? It's DTs, man. Like, there's no way DTs are this fast, but it's DTs, I promise.
Okay. The only thing I can rationalize is that he felt like, and see, he goes for a loose. Okay, this all right. Bailiff, walk through this journey with me. All right,
I'm with you.
The pylon is there to scout out and see what unit he makes out of the Stargate first, so he can react appropriately with his own Stargate and make a Phoenix and Oracle to counter whatever his opponent does. But then he hallucinates a Phoenix and scouts anyways again. I don't get it.
I feel like we're on a bad trip right now, and it's
a beautiful trip.
It is a beautiful trip. That's why the hallucinated Phoenix happened, of course, because the results of that. At the end of the day, though, MaNa, KingCobra, their Nexi, they're done just about the same time. MaNa, though, somehow MaNa's up 6 workers despite all this, and despite having the far more tech-heavy, the far more, I don't know, inefficient opening. Like, he's up 6 workers. He hasn't taken any probe damage, but KingCobra. What do you think? Is this Twilight just for a Twilight, or are we going to see a Dark Shrine on this as well?
I can't imagine you just would proxy a Twilight Council, right? Like, surely it's also got to be a proxy Dark Shrine. Surely. I don't know. Well, it is a very strange situation now, and it's also like this weird spot where MaNa, yes, he did also go for like a lot of additional tech and stuff, but it's also because he only got like a single Phoenix, whereas KingCobra's continuing to invest in Phoenix. So there is an opportunity for KingCobra to continue to get a little bit of additional damage. He's already caught up a bit in the worker counts and stuff. And as MaNa actually is moving out, the Phoenix are going to be coming swooping on in, and he will be able to pick off a couple of probes here.
I mean, this is what, 7 probes right now? Like, roughly, maybe even less than that. Okay, misread the energy. It's 4 dead probes. And now the Phoenix have no energy, and Blink is about 3/4 of the way done. I got to assume it's getting, yeah, there we go. It's getting Corona'd out again. There's a gateway on the right side. MaNa is just about to punish the hell out of KingCobra's opening. And what in the world is he doing? Dark Shrine on the left side, adding in a gateway on the bottom. There is so much of the value of KingCobra's army, the potential army here, that is just not ready at all. So, you know, he's got a shield battery at the natural, but again, Blink's just about done. And there's no shield battery. Well, there's one, but it's going to go down very quickly. There's just very little defense to the main.
Yeah, and I don't blame him for that, because I'm not going to lie, I don't think MaNa was legally allowed to do what he just did. He has a single Phoenix against a 5 Phoenix opening. He somehow maneuvered his 1 Phoenix into the right spot to get high ground vision and blink up to the main. And he did end up actually losing, MaNa ended up losing a decent number of stalkers there, but he still traded well enough that I think he can continue the aggression with his own proxy gateway and stuff, and potentially just end the game right here.
Now, the one thing we're very worried about right now is the Dark Shrine is done. DTs are warping in, and we have nothing that can give detection. Not only that, there is nothing that can give detection. There's no Robo here. The Robo's getting started right now, and I guess the good and the bad possible news, as the Stalkers, they're just going to play a ring around the rosy for quite a while, is MaNa is going to get a lot of economic damage done. And on the other side, okay, no, there is a DT. On the other side, KingCobra flipped into both sides, and we're talking about how, you know, MaNa's doing a good job getting a lot of damage done. He has no defense. The DT that is currently eviscerating his mineral line, and I don't think MaNa doesn't win the base trade here. Like, they're defensive DTs.
So he can make an Oracle, and he is going to get up an Oracle, but you're absolutely right that there's an additional problem with the Oracle, which is it can Revelation once every so often. It's not going to necessarily get the DTs if they split up even a little bit. And in the meanwhile, MaNa is just losing so many of his stalkers, so many of these zealots and stuff are going to go down. He needs to effectively take out the entire economy here of KingCobra to prevent additional warp-ins. And then he's just going to have to rely on having enough stalkers still alive to pair with the Oracle to finish him off.
Can you believe we're at 17 to 20 probes right now? Like, what is this? But okay. Now the Observer's out. He canceled the Oracle because he only had the money for 1 and instead wanted to make sure he had the Observer next to his army. Another DT goes down.
He's good to go, right? Like, yeah. He's got it now.
I don't think there's anything... Well, there's an Immortal halfway done, but I think that's just going to get targeted down very quickly. There is even 1 Immortal against this number of Stalkers with Blink. I don't think that wins either. So, yeah, there we go. Pylon will fall. Immortal's dead. And, oh, man, KingCobra. So close. Oh, never mind. Second pylon, but man, KingCobra was so close to making this happen, and I just don't think he has quite enough anymore.
Yeah, I think even if the Immortal was enough or is enough to push back these Stalkers, and I don't think it's, as soon as the Stalkers have Blink again, they can just blink on the Immortal and go for it, and there is going to be the dead Immortal. Man, it got really, really close, but great decision making in a crisis situation there for MaNa. He's going to be able to snag victory here, takes the 2-0.